Okay, this is my collection of movie novelizations, film tie-ins, TV tie-ins, that sort of thing. So I just want to go through and show everyone what I've got here. Okay, UFO. I've never seen this series, but I've heard of it. I love Jerry Anderson's Thunderbirds. I've never read that, never seen the series, but I picked it up from an op shop, I think. So that Spy Who Loved Me is a novelization. This one's not written by Ian Fleming, the book of the film. Great film, one of my favourite Bond films. Haven't read that. James Bond dossier, Kingsley Amis. A couple of Bond books here. These are all Pan. You Only Live Twice. Haven't read it. Goldfinger, I have read. This is my favourite Bond novel, Fleming novel. Pretty good film too. Moonraker, haven't read it. Well, I think I started reading it, but never finished that one. Another great film. Much maligned, but really good. Colonel's Son, not actually a film, but is James Bond, so goes with the collection. 39 Steps, really good film, old film. And this is the original novel. Midnight Express. Good film, haven't read the book. Oh. A lot of these you'll see I picked up from op shops or second-hand bookshops or thrift shops, whatever you want to call it. Battlestar Galactica. I think that one's like Galactica 1980 or something like that. Haven't read this one. This one is the novelization of the TV series, the first one. Well, great science fiction from the movies. Planet of the Apes. Someone's written on it. I haven't read this. Secret of Nim. Don't think I've seen the film, but I do like John Bluth, I think it is. Haven't read that either, but that's the original book, not a novelization. Rambo, 20 cents. So this is the sequel to First Blood. Haven't read this one. I have read First Blood. That's a good book too. Razorback, Aussie film. Haven't read that one. But I think this one's quite hard to come by, quite rare. It's in terrible condition. Haven't read it. Saw the film ages ago. Good film. Firefox, Clint Eastwood. Good 80s film. Get in there. And The Warriors. Great cult film of the 70s, I think. Now this one, Return of the Living Dead. This one is really rare. Probably worth about $100, this book. And these are not in any particular order. Hook. And Tron, nice copy that. Great film, haven't read it. V. It's an old school price sticker. Got 2 copies of this. This one and up there's another one. Sometimes I get 2 copies because I forget what I actually own. Ghostbusters, that's a nice copy that. Haven't read it yet. No, that's pretty crappy. Great film. Logan's Run. 70s film, I think. Haven't read this one. Terminator. Haven't read this either. Haven't read many of these, to be honest. But I like collecting them. Alien. Alan Dean Foster. And of course, Aliens. Now this I have read. This is one of my favourite novelisations. Really good. Alan Dean Foster again. Didn't get this new. All of these are second-hand books. Didn't get any of these new. Black Hole. Disney film. Oh, hang on, let's go. Here we go. Gremlins. Haven't read it. And Gremlins 2. Nice cover. Haven't read it. 80s classics. Now, here we go. This one, probably the pride of my collection. Mad Max 2. Or The Road Warrior. Some might know it as. This is worth a couple $100, I reckon. Can't remember where I got it, but I've had this for years, since the 80s, since the film came out. Can't remember. I have read it a long time ago. And Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Really nice copy, that one. Star Trek, Wrath of Khan. I think that's the best Star Trek book. Or Star Trek film, I should say. Kmart. Haven't read it. RoboCop 2. Now, these, I've got 3 Star Wars books, and they're all different editions. I like to pick up different editions of things. So, yeah. It's that one. This one's the white cover, I think, unless it's faded. There you go. Yeah. And this one is Del Rey. Okay, and Empire Strikes Back. Really nice copy, that one. Have to get around to reading these someday. Now, what's going on here? Return of the Jedi. And Return of the Jedi. 2 copies. But one purple, one blue. Don't know why. And of course, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, not a movie, but just a spin-off book. Alan Dean Foster. Now, 2 Raiders of the Lost Ark, because one blue, one red. One red, one blue. $2.90, $2.59. Read that a long time ago. Probably should read it again at some point. Close Encounters photo novel. Pictures from the film, told in the story format. Now this is great. This is the Close Encounters Diary by Bob Balaban. And it's just a behind the scenes making of kind of thing. I have read this. This is a really good read. Really interesting. More Close Encounters. Oh, we've got 2 different ones here. One. This one. They're pretty much the same except different colours again. Strange. Okay, here is All the President's Men. Really good cover. Like this a lot. Bernstein and Woodward. It's the original book, not novelization or a tie-in. Haven't read it yet. Alright, up here. Bridge on the River Kwai, the original book. The film tie-in edition. Golden Child. Haven't read it. Dog Day Afternoon. Haven't read it. 2 copies of Deliverance. That was one I forgot I had and I bought another one. So I ended up with 2. I think they're exactly the same. And War Games. Really nice copy, that one. Unread. By me or anyone else. Basic Instinct. Okay. Let's put those over there. Over here we have Plague Dogs. I believe that's a film, but I haven't seen it. Animated film. Bermuda Triangle. I think that's a film as well. Yep. This one's just a trivia book. Amityville Horror. I have read this. This is really good. Pretty good film if you like horror. Neil Simon's Murder by Death. Towering Inferno, from the book called The Tower. And The Poseidon Adventure. Gene Hackman. Okay, here we go. Romancing the Stone by Jean Wilder. Crappy old ex-library copy, this one, but I read this and it's really good. I read it in one sitting and I love the film. One of my favourite 80s films. What do we got here? Patriot. E.T. I've got a couple of these. Haven't read it yet. One's pretty crappy. The Sullivans. Any Aussies out there will recognise The Sullivans. TV series from the 1980s set in World War II. That's the book of it. Pretty thick book too. And another Aussie one, Light Horseman. Sigrid. Good film. And more Aussie, Against the Wind. Another TV miniseries in the 70s. John English. We did that. And up here, I've got no idea what this is. Deadline, Tom Stacey. Never heard of it. David Carradine though. I just picked it up because it looked interesting, I guess. Tim, Mel Gibson. Picnic at Hanging Rock, another Aussie classic. That's my other V. And The Saint, Val Kilmer. Doom. The Rock. That's Martin Sokus, I think. John Shirley. I've got no idea what this is. Once again, I picked it up from an op shop. Got it second hand. 39 cents. Obviously was a film, Farrah Fawcett. But no idea. Never heard of it before I picked it up. I grabbed it anyway. What else? Alright, up here. There's a really old Lord of the Flies hardcover. Film edition. Probably ex-library, I'd say. AI, Brian Aldiss, Spielberg film. And Bicentennial Man, Asimov. Red Dwarf. And Red Dwarf, Crichton biography. Magic, Anthony Hopkins film. Marathon Man, it's more William Goldman. I was going to say Golding, but that's Princess Bride, I think. Search for Spock. Edward and Mrs. Simpson, BBC series from the 70s, I think. Man from Snowy River, Aussie classic. Fisher King, Robin Williams. Saving Private Ryan. Haven't read it. Apollo 13. That's the original book by Lovell. Haven't read it. More Galactica. And 2 copies of The Sting. As I say, I get stuff that I forget I've already got. And these are the same. Pretty much the same. Oh. The Killing Fields. Philadelphia. Now this one is just a novel, and they made a film from it in the 80s, Gorky Park. It's the film tie-in edition, Orion. High Road to China, John Cleary. Enemy Mine. Now this is really interesting. Cover Up TV series in the 80s, Glenn A. Larson.